What's up? I'm Austin Griffith. I'm here with Etta and Carlos, and this is a Web2 to Web3 curriculum. If you are a traditional developer and you know how to write code, this is going to be your speed run into Ethereum and learning all the concepts. We start in the first week by becoming a power user. You'll learn how to use a MetaMask wallet and set it up and learn about gas and transactions. You'll learn about Dapps and ENS and how you can use a DEX to swap tokens. You'll learn about NFTs and ERC20s and 721s. You'll learn about just like some of the gotchas about the network. Then in week 2, you'll learn about scripting and like how you can set up scripts that can talk to different smart contracts. You'll learn about providers and signers and Ethers.js. We'll take you through different types of testing and you'll learn hard hat. And then in week 3, that's when the speed run happens. You'll go through speedrunethereum.com. You'll build an NFT. You'll build a staking app. You'll build a token vendor. You'll build a dice game. And then you'll move on and level up and learn about DEXs and multi-sigs and SVG NFTs. And then finally in week 4, it's very open-ended. You can kind of build your own thing and we'll be here to mentor you. But this is the Web 2 to Web 3 curriculum. Today is the first day. We'll talk about blockchain a little bit. But first I want to intro Etta and Carlos. Etta, maybe start with you. How did you get into blockchain? What started this? What got you here?
Yeah, for sure. So that was a great intro too. I'm super excited for the course. I think we deep dive into a lot of concepts, and I've been in the blockchain space for almost over a year now. And I think this, like with shooting these courses, like we went into a lot of details of like providers, signers, like all the different aspects, which I kind of took for granted. So I think it was really valuable for me, but I come from a developer background. I was a developer and then I kind of entered the blockchain world from a bit more of the speculation side at the worst possible time. But the tech was really interesting. And then I really fell in love with the community side of things. So I've been here ever since, 1 year and a couple of months now. But that's a very short intro about me. I can pass it on to Carlos.
Hey, thank you, Austin and Eda, for the introductions. Yes, I'm Carlos, and I've been in this space, I think, for a year now. And for me, it was like definitely the tech. I also have like a developer background, but I don't know, like thinking about like this big computer that can be stopped and every day gets stronger. And if you deploy a smart contract, it's going to live forever there. You can't change it. And everyone needs to play by the rules, like all of that, like the tech. And the first time that you deploy a smart contract into mainnet, I think you can't like look back anymore. I mean, you're already all in. Yes. And also one thing about the course is that don't expect like a happy path videos, because we are like learning as we go, and we are like making a lot of mistakes, which I think is good, because some videos just show like like the happy path for everything. But in this case, you have like some long videos, but we are like messing up and trying to fix things and learning how everything works. So it's been like a great journey. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yes. No, that's a good point. We definitely get frustrated and we have gas issues and we figure out why the wallet isn't working and many other things. I feel like I learned the most during the second week when we went through the scripting. I feel like when I got into Ethereum a few years ago, I went straight to building apps and I didn't write a lot of scripts that were kind of talking to smart contracts. I was diving straight into the smart contracts. So yeah, thank you, Etta and Carlos, for all your support there. Let's dive into it. You were talking about the tech being the cool thing. Let's dive into it a little bit and let's talk about it from a high level. Like the blockchain technology is so interesting, where you really don't have any central control. It's a system set up so thousands of people all over the world can communicate peer-to-peer, and they're using proof of work right now, but we're moving to proof of stake to kind of come to a consensus about, with Bitcoin, they're coming to a consensus about a ledger, sort of like, how much money does Alice have? How much money does Bob have? And then there's transactions where Alice sends money to Bob, right? And of course, we could get way down into so many different rabbit holes of what, you know, digital currencies are, or, you know, what does it mean to be trustless or permissionless or unstoppable. So we'll try not to get too far into it. We'll try to provide you lots of links in this video, in the video notes, where it's just like, here's like a handful of good videos to just go watch to get more understanding of things. But let's try to do a good TLDR here of a blockchain. Like, what is a blockchain? A lot of people think it's like blocks in a row, right? They think of, developers think of almost like a linked list, right? And it is that is sort of what it is. But if you look at what it physically looks at, it's more about the network, right? You think of this big mesh network of peer-to-peer communication, and that's kind of the base layer where all of these nodes are participating in a certain set of rules, and they're all playing by the same rules across this big network. And if you knock out any number of them, the whole network continues working, right? New blocks continue to get produced on that big linked list, and things can continue on in a censorship resistant way. And if you want to participate in the network, you don't have to like go to a bank and sign up for something. You basically create a private key and derive an address from that, and people can send and receive, you know, send to that address. And your private key is just a great big number. And we'll get into that private key more in some of these first episodes. So I'll try not to go a deep dive too far. But one thing I want to talk about is like escrow and trust. Like, what does it mean to have a trust minimized environment? When I deploy a smart contract and I say, the only thing you have to trust is the code, like, you know, what does that even mean? What is this trust thing? And the best way for me to explain it is escrow. The idea of escrow, where if Alice has a pair of shoes and Bob has money, and Bob would like to buy the shoes from Alice, but the key thing is Alice and Bob don't trust each other. They don't even like each other. How can we create a system where those two can coordinate even though they don't trust or like each other? And seeing this like kind of center escrow thing, right? Where Alice can put in the shoes and Bob can put in the money. And if the money and the shoes are both there, everything looks good, then there's some action that happens within this escrow where Bob gets his shoes and Alice gets her money, and they go on. And if they didn't have that escrow in the middle, maybe Bob would hand the money over first, and Alice would just grab the money and run off, right? You have to realize that in an adversarial environment, people will steal your money right away, and you can't trust anyone. So how can you operate? So that escrow, that kind of middle layer, is sort of like what I think about when I think about smart contracts. They're kind of like these vending machines that we as developers can program in a very simple way. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do that. And we can create these vending machines with this code where we can have a system like escrow or any other like number of things, collectibles, dexes where we're trading tokens back and forth. So many fun things we can build with smart contracts. But thinking about this trust layer, this is what we're programming. We're programming this thing where it's a machine that people can use to coordinate even though they don't trust each other. And that's kind of like a key piece to this. Anything to add to that? Like, am I on the right track in terms of explaining smart contracts? Anybody want to fill in some more there? I think incentives are another really fun thing to talk about. We talk about the cron job where we needed a job to run periodically. I think we talk about it in a video somewhere in the series, but basically a cron job in the Web2 world is just this periodic thing that needs to check in. But if you want to build something that happens periodically in Web3 in smart contracts, it's less about building the one machine to check in, and it's much more about building the smart contract in a way where you write the rules correctly so someone can check in every 24 hours, and only once every 24 hours anyone can check in. And the key piece is they get paid for it. There's an incentive there to check in, and that creates a system where anyone from anywhere can check in at that moment, and whoever does gets paid. So you need to correctly write the rules in your smart contract, and then correctly align the incentives to create the behavior that you're trying to create. So yeah, so we've got trustlessness, We've got incentives, an unstoppable app. Carlos, you said that. If you deploy a smart contract correctly, not even you can stop it. No one can stop it. And that's a really interesting piece of technology, because we talk about redundancy. You'll put up a web server, and if it gets lots of hits, it falls over, and so you build a read replica or something like that. We have a small amount of redundancy. In this case, the whole network is your redundancy. Every single node on the network holds all the smart contracts, and you can ask this node on the network for any value from any of those smart contracts. And anytime you update something, all of the nodes on the network have to update that value. So very, very redundant, trust minimized, money and incentives are at the core of the protocol. You as the developer can write a simple, smart contract, and the code is sort of law. You only have to trust the code, which is just like a really interesting concept. And you'll have to almost like get in and learn more and read more to be able to even ask the right questions. It takes a while as a Web2 or traditional programmer to really like get the mental model and the context. What else can we add? Is that it? Is that like maybe we can talk about some apps that you might find out on Ethereum? Like what is being currently deployed? What do we see people using it for? Obviously, like traditional finance is a big thing where people are figuring out how to do DeFi, decentralized finance, where you're figuring out how to invest and earn some APY back. And a lot of that is just like LP positions where you're locking up tokens as reserves and you're making a little fee on those LP positions. You'll get into that more. You'll build your own decks at the very end. So I don't want to spoil too much of it, just giving you a hint of what to expect. DAOs, right? We see a lot of governance structures where organizations are decentralizing and they're having a voting token, and that governance token is used in apps like Snapshot and Tally to be able to tally up votes and execute different things on smart contracts. And then NFTs, like collectibles, like token gated NFTs, token gated chats, so many fun things. I love SVG NFTs because the NFT itself is rendered within the smart contract. Just lots of neat things. How about the gotchas? The gotchas of blockchain, right? Like it's expensive, it's slow, it's asynchronous. If you lose your mnemonic or that private key, you lose all your money forever. Like there's a lot of things that we need to get better at, and we need to build better systems around that. One example there is if you lose your mnemonic, you lose it forever. So you might have a smart contract wallet that has multiple mnemonics that controls it, and then if one of those is lost, you can use two other ones to like vote that one out and make a new one or something like that. So there's solutions to some of the gotchas, and we're scaling, and we have L2 and so many other things coming in the blockchain space. But there are some gotchas, and there are some things that we still need to do better at.
I just want to jump in.
Yeah, go. Yes,
sorry,
go for it. Please,
I'm
mansplaining way too much.
I was just going to say, so we're like covering all these concepts like one by one in each video, like multi-sigs, DAOs, layer 2s. So even if like this video is a bit more like, like an overview of what we're covering, like we're going to go through every single one. And I actually really like week 1, where we start using the products which we're talking about, right? Like what is a DEX? How do you use it? So we first become like a user and then start programming, which I think is important to become like, to make an application for the blockchain itself instead of using it for like a database. So like, I think, I just wanted to give this disclaimer that we're going to cover everything.
Yeah. And like you said, Eda, even if you are not a developer, you can still like take the week 1, right? Like to becoming a power user. Like even if you don't intend to become a developer, you can take week 1 and learn about Ethereum and learn how to use all these apps. So you don't need to be a programmer. And who knows, maybe you end like week 1 and you will want to become a developer, right? And start like tinkering with the smart contracts. So who knows?
That'd be great. Yeah. Learn to, and then speed run Ethereum. We'll get you all the way through, even a non-developer. But yes, this is sort of targeted at more technical people, more developer-y. But you're right, that first week, you don't have to be a developer. You can just get in and learn how to be a power user on Ethereum. And your entry into blockchain in almost every angle starts by being a power user. If you want to join a DAO or you wanted to get into DeFi, you need to understand the wallet and how transactions and gas and private keys work. And we cover that all very, very like at a good pace. And we go through all the different hangups in like a nice long video series. So join us for the next couple of weeks and check out what we have prepared for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Just to get a glimpse of like the future, what I think in my heart, where all of this is going is coordination mechanisms at like a nation state level, right? Like when we talk about that escrow system and Alice and Bob, what if Alice is North Korea and Bob is the United States? And we're talking about military budgets and game theory and how if Ethereum or a system like it is big enough where it is a trustless environment and nation states are running validators and we can't actually trust any kind of escrow system in the middle that is human-based, and a smart contract system does fill in there, we can program incentives and we can program rules in a way in which if you defect or you fail to coordinate, possibly you lose some of your staked military budget or something far more complex that my caveman brain can't think of. But this technology that we're building on gives me goosebumps every time I use it because I start thinking of all the fun things that you could build with it. But this could have like nation state level impact at some point in the future. And that's what we're building for. We're building lots of cool coordination mechanisms. I feel like for the first time, I personally have much more agency to change the world thanks to building these smart contract applications. And I hope that you as a developer will also have that same feeling toward the end of this and as you build out throughout the first few weeks. Awesome, heck yeah. A lot of good mansplaining there. Blockchain's really interesting. We'll provide a ton of notes in the video, get you started. First week, get started right now. Go become a power user on Ethereum and get started with your wallet, and we'll get in and we'll start using some more apps. Anything else? Any other thing we should cover here? Anything we prepare anybody for? We got it? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know, like you guys like stick with us. Like we promise a lot of like good moments, a lot of weird accents, a lot of mistakes. So yeah, so stick with us and hopefully you will learn a lot. Like we do. I think like we all do learn a lot on during like this, like shooting this course. We all learned a lot. So yeah, hope to see you there.
It was super educational. One thing to add, maybe like it could be interesting, is like what happens after the course as well. Maybe just to give an overview of like what people can start doing. I don't know, Austin, if you want to like give an overview of the next steps, like after completing the course.
Yeah, I would say that like once you get done with the speed run, you want to get into the you want to get into the habit of shipping small things and trying them out. Crypto Twitter is such an important thing. Like there's so many people on Twitter and you learn so much from Twitter and you see so many projects on Twitter that you probably just need to like get in the habit of building something to learn from it, making a good README to make it so the next guy can learn from it, and showing it off on crypto Twitter to see if it's interesting to other folks. And just do that over and over and over again, right? Like I want to go learn about how a multi-sig works. So I'm going to go build my own multi-sig and try it out. And then I'm going to have a nice README that explains what I learned. And then I'm going to show it off on Twitter. Hey, is anybody interested in a multi-sig that pays each of the signers a beer for signing? And this is a good incentive mechanism. I'm thinking about aligning the incentives to getting people to sign messages, right? Show that off and repeat the process. I think a success coming out of this is obviously you, the builder, getting good at building and getting the mental model and understanding what Ethereum is for and understanding how to build on top of it. I think that a level 1 success would be, hey, we can get you hired at, a ton of different, there's hundreds of orgs in the space that are looking for someone that has the knowledge that we're giving out for free here. If you can get through it and handle it, you can easily get hired at a lot of places. I think a tier 2 would be building your own project. Like I want to give you the confidence that you can get through this curriculum and you could go get hired somewhere, but it'd be way better if you started building your own products and you found your own niche and found users and found revenue within your own product or ideas. Then I think like a level 3 success would be joining kind of the auditing space within Ethereum. Smart contract auditing is done by like 4 gigabrains in the space right now, right? So we need more auditors in the space. We need to get better at learning how to audit our contracts. So take on things like the Ethernaut. I know, Edda, you have been speedrunning the Ethernaut recently. It's such a good challenge and it teaches you a lot of kind of fun attacks. Go reproduce all the different attacks in Solidity by example. Just use Scaffold ETH to learn how these attacks work by recreating them, and then eventually get better at like auditing other folks' contracts. So those are the 3 levels. Like level 1, go get hired somewhere. Level 2, build your own thing. Level 3, become an auditor or go down that path of learning how to audit, learning how to optimize contracts, learning how, you know, all the gotchas of the attacks. I think those are the success tiers for sure. And this is a free open source curriculum. Go through it, enjoy it, take it, use it to teach other people. Like this is a free thing that anyone can take and use in any way they want. Reach out to us and give us feedback on how we can make it better. We probably should have some kind of like good support channel going. I'm assuming that will kind of just like materialize as we go through this. So yeah, reach out to us. We're warm humans and we love building this stuff and we love working with others to build cool things. So don't be shy. Yeah, thank you for joining the Web2 to Web3 curriculum. Here it is. Let's get started with day 2. Go get your wallet set up and get started becoming a power user. Thanks, Edda and Carlos.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.